champions. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. Today we are doing chapter 7.2, drawing angles to 180 degrees. Before I get into the lesson today, just a quick reminder. When we say 180 degrees, we're talking about a straight line. A straight line is 180 degrees. That's 90 degrees. 90 plus 90 gives us 180 degrees. So when it says drawing angles to 180 degrees, it means drawing angles to a straight line. So let's get into it. So our learning objective for today is we're going to use a protractor to draw angles to 180 degrees. I have a note here on the page. For some activities, there are protractors printed on the page, and we can use those. If there is not a protractor available, estimate to the best of your ability. So, in the last video, I showed us the hand method. I know it might have been cut out with some of my editing, but reminder of the hand method. If I measure from my thumb to my pinky, that's a 90-degree angle. Pinky to ring finger, that's about 30 degrees. Pinky to middle finger, that's a 45-degree angle. And pinky to index would be about a 60-degree angle. So you can use that to help you out. But there are protractors printed here in this section of the chapter, so we can use those on the page. I've crossed out the think question over there, but I want to read through this engage and think out loud about what this means. So, engage. Mark says he can form a line using two acute angles, and Joe says he can form a line using one acute angle and one obtuse angle. Okay, so justify your answer using grid paper. This was supposed to be an activity we do in class, but I'm gonna just kind of model this out here. Mark says two acute angles. So if I have an acute angle and acute angle, does that form a straight line? Not really. However, if I do an acute angle and an obtuse angle, those two angles, if I were to push them together, you'd have this straight line down here at the bottom. So to draw our angles to 180 degrees, one side's going to be obtuse, one side's going to be acute, or they're both going to be right angles. Okay? So, moving along now. To use this protractor to draw an acute angle, whether we're going left or right determines whether we use our inner scale or outer scale. And their angle they're drawing is about 70 degrees. So I'm going to model here how to draw an angle to 70 degrees. So I have my straight line down here at the bottom. That's the bottom base of my protractor, 180 degrees. And to draw to 70 degrees, I know that it's going to be slightly bigger than the angle that my pinky to my index finger forms. So I'm going to draw up here, and that's about a 70-degree angle. I could draw a 70-degree angle either direction because my directions haven't specified. So if I go in on this side, it corrects itself, and that will be about a 70-degree angle on that side of my 90-degree in the middle. Okay? It does not need to be 100% accurate because I know all the tools we would be using, all the protractors, they're back in my classroom. So, up top it just shows how I did that. Point at the vertex where the two line segments meet. That's our angle. Now it's asking to draw an obtuse angle to 145 degrees. 145 degrees. That's going to be 90 plus 55 more. So if I have my hands together, from pinky to thumb, that's 90 degrees. And I want about 55 points extra. Well, if I add in the 30 down to here and another 15, that's 45. That's going to be close enough. So my angle's going to look about from here to here. From this pinky to that index finger will be about the angle I'm looking at. So something like that would give me about a 145-degree angle. As I've said, it does not need to be 100%. If I was going from the opposite side, it'd be about here for my 145-degree angle on this side, okay? Either way I draw it, it's still 145 degrees, as long as I know that these are the points involved in drawing my angle, okay? Sometimes our directions will give us above or below. So if I have my line here, this is line AB, and my directions say draw a 45-degree angle above, I would draw it above my baseline. Or if it asked me to draw a 45-degree angle below, I draw below my baseline, underneath. Okay, so above on top of the line, below underneath. Okay, it does ask us this. Just be careful as you read the directions to note whether you're going above or below. Okay, moving on now. This is page 199 in your math workbook, and it has 4 angles that it wants you to draw. I'm going to show how I'm going to roughly estimate what those are. I don't have a protractor at home, but I'm going to model how I would draw these angles. Make sure my pen is up and working. For some reason, technical difficulties. Okay, wants to draw there, but not there. There we go. So there's my baseline for my 50-degree angle. 50 is slightly more than 45, so ring to index finger. Slightly up, that would be about 50-degree angle. Okay, for my 35-degree angle, that's going to be smaller than that 50. It's going to be about where my ring finger is to my pinky. So ring to pinky gives me about a 35-degree angle. 90-degree, that's thumb to pinky, or the corner of paper. That's a 90-degree angle. And lastly, I have a 140-degree angle, which is obtuse. It is more than 90, so it's going to be about there. From pinky to about there is what I'm going to say. So say that's 140 degrees. See how I'm estimating? I'm putting it in the rough ballpark. That is acceptable for this. We're not doing it 100% with a protractor, okay? So moving along now. Now it's your chance to try these out. I have 3 protractors drawn. I've highlighted whether the directions say inner scale or outer scale, and that just refers to the numbers inside the protractor. I'm going to zoom it in for you so you can see all 3 problems. And if you would like to do these on your own, this is page 200 in your math workbook. You can pause the video now. All right, so modeling how we would draw these numbers. First one says draw a 65-degree angle using the inner scale. So here's my, again, my pens. There we go. There's my 90 degrees. It's not going to go beyond that point. And I'm referring to the inner scale, so I'm looking for the numbers less than 90 on the inside, so that's going to be here on my right-hand side. And I'm drawing to 60 degrees. So because the protractor is printed on my page, I can just draw right on there if my pen wants to work. There we go. That would be a 60-degree angle using the inner scale. Okay. Next up, number 2 is asking me to draw a 120-degree angle using the outer scale. Okay. So mark off where my 90-degree angle is. And now I'm referring to the outer scale, so I'm find my 120 up here and just follow that line down and over to make my obtuse angle that's 120 degrees. Now earlier I said that today's lesson is drawing to 180 degrees. If I were to complete my baseline out, this side would go all the way out to 180 degrees. Okay. Last up, number 3, 165-degree angle using the inner scale. So again, I'm going to mark off where my 90-degree angle is. So I know the distinction between acute and obtuse. Less than is acute, greater than is obtuse. And I'm referring to the inner scale, so that's going to be on the left-hand side here. And I need 165, so that's going to be halfway between 160 and 175 to draw my angle like that using my inner scale. Okay. If it didn't specify inner or outer scale, I could have drawn these angles in any direction, but I'm trying to be mindful of whether it's saying inner scale or outer scale. I always want to read those directions. Okay, so moving along now. 3 more questions for you to practice. I'm going to read it out and then you can pause the video, do it on your own, give it a shot. So for problems 4 and 5, join the marked endpoint of each ray to one of the dots to form an angle with the given value. Then label the angle. Okay? So number 4, the measure of angle B is 80 degrees. So acute. Number 5, measure of C, 130 degrees. This is going to be obtuse. Okay? For number 6, using point Q as the vertex, draw an angle PQR that measures A, 55 degrees, so that QP lies above QR, and then B, 55-degree angle that QP lies below QR. No protractors on this page, but I want you to give it your best shot. Page 201 in your math workbook. I'm gonna pause. All right, so you've had a few moments to work through problems 4, 5, and 6. I know we don't have a protractor, but let's work through these. So number 4, measure of B is 80 degrees. Well, I know if I have a straight line up from my baseline, that would be a 90-degree angle. I'm looking to form an 80-degree angle, so I'm going to go with the point inside to make it 80 degrees. And to label it, just put a B there at my vertex so that I know that that's angle B and that it's 80 degrees. Okay? Next up is to form an angle measure C that's 130 degrees. Now this one's a little more difficult without a protractor. Seeing how the 2 points are fairly close together, they'd both be obtuse. And so if we think about it, if I go, this is 90 that I have on my page. That's 10, 20, 30, 40. Each finger is about an angle, so it's going to be a little further out till we get to 130, which is 40 degrees off. So I'm going to choose the further out one, and I'm going to label that C. If you chose the inner one because you lined up your hands and you measured it out, that is okay. We just want to get as close as we can. I'm not asking for 100% accuracy because we don't have the tools to be 100% accurate. Okay, problem number 6. So we have A, to draw a 55-degree angle above QR. So if I draw it up like that, that would be above. Or if I draw a 55-degree angle below, like that. And I know those are probably closer to 45, half of a right angle, but for the sake of this will do that. This one was mainly checking whether we saw that it was above or below. 2 more practice problems on page 202. Okay. Make an angle LMN, so M will be your vertex, that's about 64 degrees. And number 8, draw an angle that measures 158. We're not going to get exact, but do your best. Pause the video and try your own. All right, so the first one we're going to do is a 64-degree angle. Now, my baseline isn't a straight line across, so if I draw like that, that's my 90 degree. I want my 64 degree to be about there. Remember, pinky to index finger is about 60 degrees. To label this, I want to put an L up top because this is LMN. My angle's named after its vertex M, so M is in the middle, and it's 64 degrees, approximately. Okay, and number 8, draw an angle that's 158 degrees. Well, if I start off with a straight angle, a straight line, that's 180 degrees. 158, that's about 20 less. So if I draw up from here, that will be 158 degrees, approximately. Put that squiggly equal sign there, so that is approximate to that. All right, so that concludes this lesson for today. Your assignment pages are page 203 and 204. It looks like it's 4 problems for you to do. Short, sweet, and easy. Try your best to do it without a protractor. I know it's a little difficult, but I believe in you. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.